Hey now, what's going on everybody? My name is Mike Brown, aka ReviewKingMB, and I just got done watching Gotham, Rise of the Villains. This is Season 2, Episode 2, entitled Knock Knock. And this episode was pretty insane. I said last week how much I enjoyed the first episode of Season 2 and how much more I liked the new direction of Season 2, but that was the first episode. Surely it could have been easier to just have a really good first episode and then go downhill after that. But Episode 2, they're on track. I'm sold. I am completely with what Gotham is doing right now at the current time. At the very beginning of the episode, we see Theo Gallivan and his sister Tabitha. They kidnap the mayor, which kind of explains how they're able to do what they do throughout the whole episode. How these criminals are just running around the city free and there's not enough law enforcement on top of them. It's because there's no mayor. And they're using him. I mean, they're keeping him alive for the moment, but who knows what they really want to do with him. By the way, Jessica Lucas plays Tabitha, who is very, very attractive. Even more so seeing her play a villain. She's very hot. Then we see Jerome with the other inmates, and they're on top of a roof throwing bodies off. I don't know if they were other inmates. I don't know if they were civilians that they were just saying fuck you and throwing them off, but that was pretty fucked up. This episode especially is very dark. Last episode there was a couple of dark kills. Last season even you had moments of like, whoa, that's for Fox at 8 o'clock hour. They're going for it. In this scene especially, I mean, I know Jerome is all laughing and flamboyant. Some people might say campy, but the acts that he's committing is fucked up. He has each and every body spelling out maniacs with an X, 2 X's. And then, like, this was kind of the Jerome episode. This was like, I know you love Penguin, everybody. I know he's an awesome villain, but we're going to push Jerome to the forefront now and see what this kid has. Jerome and some other guy, I forget his name, they play chicken, pretty much. He gives them a gun, 1 bullet in it, and they have to put the bullet to their head and pull the trigger, and I guess whoever either dies or what, they're gone, and it's to see who's the leader of this gang. And Jerome just, he goes for it like 3 or 4 times. He's just continuously going like this, and no bullets going off. That just shows how crazy this fucker is. Not only that, you have a scene where they all go off on the streets in the fire truck and they cut off a school bus full of cheerleaders. And this was very disturbing. Jerome goes in there, pours gasoline all over them. They're all handcuffed. And he has a lighter and he's trying to light the gasoline, about to blow this bus up. Honestly, I didn't want to see it. I was like, okay, if this show is really going to go this far and burn a bunch of innocent cheerleaders, really for no reason, I don't know if I could watch it. Luckily, though, the lighter didn't go off. Gordon and the cops got there, and all but 1 inmate left. And when Gordon grabbed the inmate, almost got information out of him, he got shot in the head by Jessica Lucas. So there was that. Speaking of Gordon, though, Gordon also had a lot to do in this episode. First, we see him go to Bullock, asking him to come back. Surprisingly, Bullock turned him down. He now has a new girlfriend or fiance. Okay, that was quick. So I was just surprised. I was like, wow, okay, I guess we're not going to get Bullock back as a cop for a little while now until you get to the end. Before I get to that, though, Barbara calls Jim once again, 2 weeks in a row where she calls him. This time, though, was a little bit creepy. More creepy than the first time because she was in the GCPD station. And at first, I thought, wait a minute. She just walked in there. She's literally out on the run, most wanted, and nobody recognized her. I thought that was a little weird until, well, you see that it was a ploy to lure Jim out of the station, and Jim followed her in the alley. He got his ass kicked by her gorilla bodyguard or whatever his name is. And I'm telling you, this actress, I might have hated her last season, but she plays crazy all too well. She has become now one of, at least, the most fascinating of characters on this show now. She's crazy. She clearly wants Jim back, but yet she's at least smart enough to realize she's not going to get him back. And then she kissed him when his face was full of blood and the blood smeared on her lips. Just very, very crazy, this woman. But I kind of like it. But that's where, after they leave, the criminals just take the police station. And they kill so many cops. It was shocking. Honestly, it was shocking. I mean, I know I said I didn't want to see the cheerleaders all get killed. But this, and maybe some of the cops were corrupted. Who really knows? But still, just them going around, shooting all the cops. And then even later on, where a lot of the cops are just laid out on the ground and there's some still moving, and Jerome's just going off and shooting them dead, to finish the job. It was very, very disturbing. They take Commissioner Essen, tie her up, and there was an interesting exchange where Jerome killed the guy who he hated in the first place anyways, because he took his line. And then she headbutted him in the face. And then next thing you know, we find her dead. Jerome killed her after that. They killed Sarah Essen in the second episode of season 2. I'm shocked. I can't believe they did that. They just made her commissioner. What now? What now? This show is going for it. They're taking a risk. It's unpredictable, and that's what I wanted from this show last season. Now this is just, I'm loving this. It's craziness. And I should talk a little bit about Jerome, because last week I talked about how I like the actor. He's giving a good performance as a potential Joker. I still say that I don't care for a teenage Joker. I don't care of like a pre-origin Joker story. I don't care. I mean, maybe there's a way to do it, but just watching it in live time, I don't really care. But I do have to say, this actor is pulling off a hell of a Joker. He is. He acts like Joker. He looks like Joker. He talks like Joker. He has his mannerisms, and they're writing him. He's doing Joker-like things. Like I'm kind of watching this episode especially, and I'm picturing a real Joker. I'm sitting there thinking, wow, if this was like an actual Batman show, and he was in clown makeup and he was running around doing this stuff, it would be fucking perfect. So, I mean, sure, I don't care that it's a younger Joker, but I can't knock the performance. I can't knock the writing. I can't knock specifically what they're doing. So I'm impressed with this Jerome. I mean, who knows? My theory from last week that he might not really be the Joker. It might be a misdirect. He might get killed at some point, and it's like, oh, okay, well, swerve. But still, at the moment, I kind of like the guy. You had this little plot going on with Edward Nygma. We saw Mrs. Kringle talk to her. Very awkward, just as awkward as last season. But then during the whole criminal taking the station, he saved her life. And he took a bullet for her. And she seemed like she was there for him at the end. Very appreciative. And so hopefully this progresses their story. I don't know if they're going to become a couple, but at least it passes that awkwardness that he has. Also, we saw the split personality thing. I said last week how I didn't really care for it, and the more I thought about it, I think I think that it's too much like Harvey Dent's story, right? Harvey Dent is in the show, and we've seen him in a couple episodes last season, and he too has that split personality. So I guess I just don't understand why they're doing the same exact thing with Nygma, but we'll see where it goes. Let's talk about Alfred trying to protect Bruce Wayne now we saw the full cave. Last week, it just looked like a little room with a computer in it, and that was it. This week, they shot it slightly better to where it looked bigger, and I thought, oh, okay, this might actually be the cave, like a full cave. I mean, there's no room for a Batmobile yet, but still, it at least looked bigger. And Alfred destroyed the computer once he realized how big this was. He regretted helping Bruce get to this place, and he destroyed it. Bruce was pissed. He fired him. This was something that kind of came out of nowhere, and I was like, what? Of course, all of us are probably sitting there thinking, all right, well, this isn't going to last, because obviously we know Alfred won't be fired. But I was glad that it all came around in the same episode, that Bruce went to the train station before he left, asked him to come back, and they had to have a mutual understanding of what Bruce was about to do. And I even like the little comedic moment of Bruce saying, well, you're going to have to fix that computer. And Alfred, just the look on his face, realizing, like, how the fuck am I going to fix this computer? Later, we see him meeting Lucius Fox, or as he calls him, Lucius Fox. That was very cool to see Alfred meeting Lucius Fox, because these two characters become very big and important to the Bruce Wayne Batman mythology, and I liked Alfred almost testing to see how much he can trust Lucius. At first, it might have come off as like too forced that Alfred would just go to Lucius and tell him all of this stuff and try to trust him. But he did say that he knew that Lucius was the one who told Bruce about his father, gave him the idea to want to seek this truth and the answers. So it made sense that he went after him, and he is fixing the computer. So there you go. All in all, this episode I thought was great. Very dark, very violent, very Jerome-centric. Seems like next week will be the same. So I'm interested. I'm very interested. I'm actually very much enjoying this season. Good stuff so far. Anyways, guys, let me know in the comments below if you too saw this episode. What did you think of it? Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Later!